Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Beamer, owner-operator of Extra Diet Art by Science, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about spinning wheels. Now, no doubt you have been spinning with a drop spindle, and most of the time when you're first starting to do this, you've tested it out with a drop spindle because it's a lot less expensive than a spinning wheel. You might spend $5, $10, $15 on a drop spindle, try it out. Maybe you'll find out it's not for you. It happens. I've met a lot of people who have learned how to spin, they know how to do it, they appreciate everyone who knows how to spin, but they don't want to spin themselves, which is totally fine. However, it makes your decision a little bit more free. So let's say you want to try spinning. You don't have to spend $400 to try it out. You just spend, basically a lunch or a couple cups of coffee, and you have a drop spindle, which, you can try something out that's new. So that's actually very liberating in my opinion. A lot of times when you get into certain arts and crafts, it's like this major expense just to get started. So that's another reason why I like spinning. Anyway, this isn't a promo video about how great spinning is. But I did have someone ask me about spinning wheels. So let me first say you don't have to have a spinning wheel in order to be a great spinner. You can have a drop spindle, make gorgeous yarns, and even have better yarns than what some people can make with a spinning wheel. I've seen some of the work from people in my spinning and weaving guild that I was a part of before coming to Korea. And there have been people I found on the internet that make better yarn than anyone else I've ever seen. So, and then, they use a drop spindle. A drop spindle takes up far less space than the spinning wheels you see behind me. um, so you don't have to have a spinning wheel. However, if you have made the decision to get a spinning wheel, I have a few tips or things to think about as you're mulling over your decision, because it is an investment, and the type of investment that you want varies on your financial situation, where you might be living. I'm insane for having 2 spinning wheels in a teeny little apartment in Korea, but we're making it work. My fiber stuff has sort of taken over that side of the room, which is why you never really see that side. So, there's a space requirement, there's a price, and then when it actually comes down to the wheel itself, they range in price from maybe $250 to $1,000. Why? Well, there's lots and lots and lots of reasons, and I actually have a blog post where I talk briefly about this. I am not a spinning wheel expert. I only have some insights to sort of get you thinking about stuff and to point you into the right direction in terms of doing your own research, because a lot of this is going to be contingent on what you want, what you can afford, what you can manage. So first thing, besides price, that I really can't help you with. My first wheel was the most inexpensive one I could find. In fact, it's this one here. This is a Babe wheel, and Babe wheels are made out of PVC pipe and really inexpensive. They're great little wheels, and I can actually talk about the differences between my Babe wheel and my Kromsky wheel, which is the one that I have over here that I call my princess wheel because it makes me feel like a princess when I'm at it. I'm so not girly. It's like the only girly thing about me. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, so besides the price, we have inexpensive wheel here, and then we have sort of on the high end of wheels over here. And I was in very different financial situations when I bought the first one versus the second one. So if you want me to talk about that, I can talk about that later when I actually do like a side-by-side comparison of the wheels. So figure out your own price. If you can afford your favorite wheel, go for it. If you are, looking more on the budget end, the Babe wheel has served me very well for a couple years, and I still continue to use it. As you can see, it's set up behind me. I was using it earlier. Now, the decision between single treadle and double treadle. My spinning guild, they sort of helped me make my decision, and I think they gave me really great advice. I'm going to pass it on to you guys just in case you don't have a spinning guild to go to. Um, if you want to make the investment in a spinning wheel, they suggested to go for a double treadle. And a double treadle is basically you have 2-foot pedals so you can use both of your feet. I have a martial art background and I like things to be even. So if I'm working one leg, I want to work the other one too. So for my OCD nature, I need to have both feet going. But like for example, if you have maybe like a hip problem or a knee problem or something like that, having a single treadle over a double treadle might be better for you. But if you're just a normal average person, you don't really have any aches and pains or injuries or disabilities or anything like that, maybe a double treadle is the best one if you can, spend a little bit extra, because they do cost a little bit more on average per model, especially in the models that offer the choice. Some models just, it's only one way or the other, not the option to have both. So you can always make a double treadle into a single treadle. So you can treadle with both, or you can just treadle with one foot and switch if you need to. So if you have like a hip problem, or you have problems with your upper body, because it's actually like when you're drafting, and like I find that sometimes if it's been a while for me, I'll get soreness in my oblique muscles, the muscles on the sides of my belly, because they don't get worked as much as they should. So I find that like sometimes it's actually better just to try it with the other foot instead of both. So you can, so if you're having an issue, you can switch which foot that you're using, and you've already put the investment into the double treadle, so you can make that switch really easily. The other thing about a double treadle is the momentum of the wheel. So you have in front of you the giant wheel that goes around, right? That, it has like a momentum as you go, and if you get towards the bottom and you're using a single treadle, sometimes it will lose speed as it gets up near the top, and then when you press down with the pedal, it'll go fast in that first halfway around revolution, and then it slows down before it gets back up to the top. So if you have a double treadle, that wheel doesn't really have time to stop, because when one foot is down, the other one is up, so it can give it that extra push. So you're always giving it a push right around the time when the wheel coming around is starting to slow down. It doesn't sound like a big deal, except for when you really start to think about advanced spinning techniques, it might actually work out better for you. I also have met people who only like using a single treadle. But like I said, if you have a little extra money, invest in the double treadle, because at least you have the option. If you have a single treadle, you don't really have the option to, plop on a new treadle or a new pedal and then, make it a double treadle. You just have a single treadle that you can't, make a double. So you can make a double into a single, but you can't make a single into a double. That was really long-winded. And then it also comes down to what kind of add-ons does the wheel have. Not all wheels can have multiple flyers, and if you think you're going to be going from really thin yarns to really thick yarns, the orifice, the part where the thread or the yarn goes threaded through the opening before it winds onto the bobbin, that part really matters quite a lot. So if you're making a really thin yarn, you want to have a very small orifice size, so that when I don't know what that is, when the yarn is being threaded through the hole, it's not just bouncing around inside the orifice, right? If you have a smaller orifice, the yarn goes through, it gets onto the bobbin, there's not a lot of wiggling around. However, if you want to make a really fat yarn, it's going to be almost impossible to get a fat yarn through a little hole for obvious reasons. So if you are thinking about making conventional lace weight yarns, or sport like sport weight yarns, and also really bulky yarns, you might want to think about a wheel that has an addition to it. So the Babe wheel that I have here, this is actually the bulky flyer attachment. It has a much smaller flyer for the regular size. So this bobbin actually holds 2 pounds of fiber, but the normal ones, they'll only hold like 4 or so ounces. So that's actually one of the things I really thought about when I was getting my Babe wheel. I wanted to make sure that I was going to have the option for more attachments. My Kromsky wheel, I'm pretty sure that there's the attachment for it, but I didn't need to get it, or I really had to think about it too much because I already have a bulky flyer for my Babe wheel, so it didn't really make a lot of sense to have two. However, that's something that I might actually look into in the future. Alright, and then let's see here. What else can we talk about for choosing a spinning wheel? There's one last thing. I remember the third point I was going to make. I kind of got a little off tangent there and kind of fried my own brain. But basically, if you can see or use a wheel in person, that's really one of the best deciding factors, because I can make a suggestion saying, oh, get a double treadle, oh, get this kind of wheel or this kind of wheel. But really what it comes down to is, what do you want? Do you want to have a wheel that adjusts in this way, or do you want it to have it adjusted in this way? Do you want to have, you know, like the space requirement? Actually, when I was considering a wheel for South Korea, I needed to take into consideration the lack of space that we have here. And that was part of the reason why I chose the Kromsky Minstrel, which is a more upright version, rather than, I think it was the Saxony. I think it was the Saxony wheel, which is very long. It's a very long wheel, and it was only a single treadle, which is kind of counter to what I was just talking about earlier. But I just loved the way that it looked, and it was going to encourage me to really learn how to do the long draw method, because I tried it on a Saxony wheel at a fiber event and I loved it, and I actually had this breakthrough with it. But for the space, it just, I couldn't find a good place to put it, so I had to go with what was going to fit into our apartment and be easy to disassemble and ship back to America when we were done here in Korea. So if you go to any fiber shows and there are spinning wheels available, totally just ask, but totally try out every single wheel, run it through its work. So even if you're still beginning, like a beginning spinner, it doesn't matter. You can sit down and be like, hey, I've learned with the drop spindle, I want to try doing this because I think I might make a purchase. If they don't go over there and help you, go somewhere else, because there's going to be lots of different vendors who have these probably same exact wheels. So you want to just sit down and try them out. And you can try them out for like 10-15 minutes. Not a big deal. I strongly encourage you to try any wheel, every wheel. If you can't try the wheel that you might be looking at, look for a video of someone actually spinning with it. I was breaking in my new wheel, my Kromsky here, and I did a video on, I think it was like 2 or 3 videos, because I wanted to also talk about my impressions of the wheel, because I never got a chance to use it before I bought it. I just figured, you know, it's going to be a learning curve, let's just have fun with it. I was already pretty adept at using my Babe wheel, so I figured, you know, it was going to be okay. I'll just get it, try it out, see how it works, and it turns out I love it. And I love the way that it spins, and I also love the way that the Babe spins. So, you know, I love them for different reasons, and they don't really overlap too much in the reasons why I love them. So it actually works out really great for me, because it's like I can kind of capitalize on the different styles of spinning for each one. So if you can't find a video online, if I happen to have a wheel, I will totally show you guys how they work. But if you can't find anything, contact either a dealer or even the company itself and see if they have videos of them actually being used. And if not, can you just like tell them, hey, can you film yourself doing this? You don't have to like show me your face. I just want to see the wheel in action and how you're using it and stuff like that, to really get an idea if you can't actually try it out physically. So basically, to recap, price, big component, right? Single versus treadle, and neither one is technically better, although people who are of one camp or another tend to think that the way that they've set up their wheel, whether it's single or double, is better than the other. And then the third way is just actually trying out the wheel to see if it's for you. Unfortunately, that third point isn't going to be super helpful for most of you, because if you're online watching me talk right now, you're probably not out trying one. Yeah, like if you have an opportunity to go try one, do so. If you are considering making a wheel purchase and the biggest hiccup is single versus double, maybe it might take another extra month or two to save up that little extra to get the double treadle if you really want to have compatibility with having it be a double treadle or on occasion a single treadle. And then when it comes to price, I mean, that factors into basically everything. If your favorite wheel, the wheel that you really feel fits you, is $1,000, maybe it's going to be the greatest wheel for you, and you just need to save that grand. Ugh. I don't know if there's a wheel that expensive. There must be. I'm just throwing that out there. Don't quote me on it. Anyway, so hopefully all of this rambling you have gotten some really good ideas for what to look for. And I only touched on 3 things, and those are the big 3 things for me. Because like I said, I've only been spinning for 3 years, and there's still a lot that I need to learn, and I'm always learning new stuff, but it's a little bit slow when I'm doing it all by myself. But definitely in the future, if I have a lot more things to consider when you're making a wheel purchase, I will definitely make more videos, more blogs and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching and staying to listen to me ramble. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Any other information is probably going to be in the description below, because I always watch and edit these videos at the same time, so I will hear myself say this and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to write that in there. So, thanks for watching. Bye!